I think much like other people in the Bow Valley who've lived here for a while, but who never really spent the time in Exshaw, it's easy to misunderstand the industry here. It's easy to misunderstand the community here. And working on this project has changed my perspective enormously, opened my eyes to a lot of things, and made me realize that just a short jaunt down the highway from Canmore, there's a real community here that's very welcoming.
I regret not knowing more about the history of my family, and I want to make sure that my family knows, what went on here, why we stayed here, and that goes for everybody, really. Understanding history probably makes you conduct yourself in a better way.
A century ago, the Canadian West was a place of myth and legend. It was a land of tough, nomadic peoples, huge rivers, limitless prairies, and mountain ranges that ran for what seemed an eternity down the spine of the entire continent. When the Canadian Pacific Railway was completed in 1885, it fulfilled the dream of a Canada that extended from sea to sea to sea. That Canada would be constructed from the untold wealth of the West. Western wealth was often of a magnitude that astonished even the boldest of dreamers. When coal was discovered in the Bow Valley, it was in stupendous quantities. As spectacular as this was, there was something down valley that was even more astounding. Within sight of the Canmore coal mine was an entire mountain composed of limestone so pure that it could be transformed by the simplest methods into the cement that would hold together the dream of a new West. The men who conceived of the cement plant that was built at Exshaw in 1906 were visionaries who thought on a national scale. In their minds, they were building something concrete. Not just promises, but tangible beginnings. Not just dreams, but realities. They were building the Canadian West. In 1907, when production reached a whopping 2,600 barrels a day, Exshaw was heralded as the largest and most modern cement plant in the world. But just as everything looked rosy, the cement production process was revolutionized, and the bottom fell out of the suddenly uneconomical traditional cement market. The first era in Exshaw's history ended with the sale of the almost instantly outdated plant to the Canada Cement Company, and the beginning of the Great War.
Well, my dad came in 1907 and my mother came in 1908. And then from there, my mother and her family moved to Exshaw, and my dad went and worked at the lime plant in Kananaskis.
It was a very tight-knit community, very close. Family bonds stretched out through the entire community. And that's quite fascinating. And it's still strong today. We have families that have reached 5 generations back who still live here.
I've had 5 generations of my family have worked at the plant. My grandfather and my father and my husband and brothers. And my boys and my granddaughter, Kara, worked at the plant one summer, so it was 5 generations altogether.
The second great era in the history of Exshaw began when Canada Cement modernized its mining and refining processes and brought the town back to life. For For the next 50 years, the plant's fortunes rose and fell with the price of cement. A friendly, stable community came into existence, and the plant grew slowly in size and capacity.
I started in 1941, and then I went into the Army in 43, stayed there till 45, came back to Exshaw, went back to the plant, went back into the quarry, stayed there till 47. In 47 I left the quarry, went to Seabee to the shale pit. And I spent 23 years down at the shale pit. Then it was contracted out. Then I came back to the plant and run the bulldozer in the quarry for the rest of my time.
I think easily the most interesting story is got to be Gino Lazzarotto talking about the coyote holes and how they would rappel down the cliff face with ropes around their waist, with jackhammers, standing on little ledges to dig these 30-foot holes out of the cliff face, and then to muck everything back in there and explode the whole thing, go back in, clean it out, and do this all over again. It's working conditions that we just don't understand today. Risks that we don't take, we don't think of. But to them, no big deal. That's just what you did to do the job.
But when I first worked here, I knew them all the old timers. We got along good. They all looked after you. When you first started to work, you always had an old timer that would fill you in on what you had to do. Watch yourself. It's not like now. It's like now. It's like before. They didn't talk much about safety as they do now.
The third era in the history of Exshaw began with the appearance of Lafarge in 1956, and its gradual amalgamation with Canada Cement, which was completed in 1970. Through a series of modernizations and dramatic expansions, Lafarge transformed the Exshaw Cement Plant into one of its flagship operations. The transformation, however, was not without painful local sacrifice. At one point, much of the town had to be torn down to accommodate expansion. The community had to rebuild itself.
Canada Cement came to this community with probably the toughest choice a community can face. It's either have your industry become obsolete and your jobs disappear, or expand the industry and watch your town disappear under bulldozers.
Oh, I've seen a lot of change. After they expanded the new plant, Lafarge merged, they built the new plant. Oh, we lost everything here. We lost the town, we lost our curling rink, we lost our canteen that the kids had a lot of fun at, we lost our skating rink, we lost everything.
The modernization that took place in the 1970s resulted in the plant that we now know of as the Lafarge plant, saw about 50% of the town bulldozed over a period of 2 years, and then a massive new modernized plant rise in its place. And that brought continued prosperity to this hamlet, but it also brought continued prosperity to the valley and to Alberta.
I like it here. I don't mind Exshaw. I like the valley. It's quiet here. You get used to that place sitting there even at night when it's noisy. It's all right.
Well, growing up as a kid, it was a lot of fun. There was so much to do here. Like, you made your own fun. We didn't have a TV even for, well, till 60s, I think it was. And we used to build huts all the time, forts, and in fact, I remember we burnt one down, and fire department came, put out the fire. It was a hut we built, things like that. We went skiing down hills beside the track over there. We made our own fun.
Sports has always been important to Exshaw, particularly hockey. I mean, hockey has kept the community glued together, the plant, and even families during labor disputes. We used to have the Concrete Cup, for example, one of the most major fierce competitions among our rivals, our competitors, our distributors, our customers, and we used to hold them in Banff, Canmore. Last one we had in Canmore, I remember really well. We were playing our largest customer. We went out and we handpicked our team, and we went on ice for the championship. We're meeting in Canmore. We dropped the puck after about a period of roughhousing. All of a sudden, there's a bench clearing brawl from both sides. Out comes the green uniforms, out comes our baby blue uniforms. We come to center ice, and everybody, anywhere from the president of the region to the VP of manufacturing, right to the millwright on the floor, we were punching each other out on the ice surface. And our sales manager was there, and I can still remember in the background as we're fighting away going, "Don't hit them too hard, they're customers, don't hit the customers, leave the customers alone."
The history of the plant and the ability to successfully master the various challenges that have come through social changes, the investments and expansions, has created a performance culture in this plant. So Exshaw plant, the employees in it, expect good performance from themselves and from the plant they work in.
We want to give back to the community to stay in business here for a long period of time. And long-term sustainability to us means jobs, protection of tourism, wildlife, and then the last but not least, the more we make a profit, the more money we can put back in the community, and the better we operate for the betterment of the valley.
Moving a mountain is no easy task. By relying upon one another at work and in the community, the people of Exshaw have developed a resilience that has allowed the town to survive depressions, wars, and the ever-present threat of fluctuating prices for the product the town was created to produce. But whatever the economic climate, making cement remained and still remains the reason for its existence. But it's not just what was made at Exshaw over the last century that matters, but what was made of it.
You go to work in the plant every day, and you know at the end of your shift what you've produced. What you don't always see is what you're building. You don't always see what your generation is building, and you don't see what you've helped build over 100 years. Over the past century, Exshaw has built a lot. We have built a plant, we've built a community, and a unique identity. And even more than that, we have built the Canadian West.
There's a quaint little town where the mountains rush down, where the Bow Rapids ripple and play, where the smokestack is high and the clouds hurry by, and the people are happy each day. And the main street was built in the heart of this town, where the cars would go